You gotta open up to that, and then you gotta do the work, or else you're gonna be dating the Maytag repairman. So, in all this, right, we're gonna do an exercise. So, think about this for a minute. Yes?
Can I go back to the start? Comfortable in your own skin. Now, are you saying there that it's an acceptance, this is how things are? They may not be perfect, but this is how things are, rather than I am perfect the way I am?
Correct. A little bit of both. So, and I'm going to get more in depth in this. I just hit them real fast, and I've got to get you guys into thinking about a thing that you want to work on so you can start applying them. So, I do this 5-minute journal every morning. Okay, 4 out of 5 mornings. Okay, 3 out of 7 mornings. And they have you do the affirmations and what you're grateful for and everything. And what I find I'm keeping at the top of my mind is I am exactly where I need to be right now. That is really hard to do. Because I have a back pocket full of stuff I got to do. I got a backpack full of stuff I'm supposed to do. And I got a bunch of people going, why aren't you doing this? So it's really hard to say, I'm exactly where I need to be right now, especially when you're like a little nervous about your new PowerPoint, your recording's not working. I'm like, you know what, it's happening exactly where it needs to be. So that if you can't start at a place of good foundation, if you start at a place of I'm lacking, I'm no good, I am not where I want to be, I'm worthless, then how in the world are you going to convince every layer of yourself that you're worthy of this transformation? So what we're going to do is we're going to think about, I want you guys to think about for a second, your biggest challenge. Maybe not your biggest challenge, how about a workable challenge? Something that's bothering you. Don't go for broke. I mean, let's go for like what we can do, what we can answer. So when you look at your challenge, it's here on the surface, and this is what you think it is. And then what you have underneath that is all of your fears and beliefs and limitations that support that challenge, that make you believe that that is your challenge. So I like to call it, they're driving the bus. Your fears are driving the bus, and they're directing you. And when you start digging in, you go, oh yeah, that fear was totally driving the bus. Fighting with your loved one. When you start fighting with your spouse, or, I know, right? Just picking at me. So when you're fighting with a loved one, what are you really fighting about? Are you really fighting about what's there? Or is your fear, like, they're going out, they're hanging out with an old school chum who happens to be of the opposite sex, or of the sex that they prefer. And it's an old school chum. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And then they come home and you pick a fight. So what are you fighting about? What you're really fighting about, look, I got a pointer, your fears. And your limitations, and that's what's driving the bus in that moment. And then so what you're doing is you're doing the antithesis. You're doing magic. I'm not saying you're doing the antithesis of magic. You're doing magic. You're fucking it all up. And then you have what it actually is. Underneath all of that, underneath your fears and beliefs and limitations, is what it actually is. And here's the fun thing. Frustration, that's what you think it is. Maybe you got some influence. So all of this stuff, it hits in different places. And you are in charge of figuring it out where it is. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. And it's called Why Is That? Did you guys pick your poison? Did you pick your challenge? Is anybody who did not pick your challenge? Is anybody who's not going to play the game? Maybe two. Just pick one. Just pick one, because you know what? Why complicate it? Get good at it, and then you can do 4 at a time. So you got to find the root of your challenge. So we're gonna ask you a question in a little bit, And I want you to all right now take a moment and release all of your preconceived notions, except the fact that this is an awesome PowerPoint. You can stay there. But if you knew what the real problem is, you have already dealt with it. So release any preconceived notions of what you think this problem is about. You've got the surface of what it looks like. And then don't judge. When you answer this question, don't judge that you have this problem, but also don't judge your answer that you get when I ask this question. And your answer comes in a nanosecond or less. You are already, your body is already like getting ready to give you the answer. Right now, your spirit's already getting ready to they know what's coming. And so your answer comes immediately. So don't judge it, let it come, and we're gonna go at least 3 layers deep to get to the real answer. So, oops, look, I went too far. Oh, okay. So, close your eyes, think about your problem. Your challenge, your poison. Feel it. Feel the frustration of it, the annoyance of it, how it interferes with what you're doing. Think about all the things you tried to do to fix it or didn't do to fix it because you're afraid of it. Bring it up and feel it. Let the emotions come up. Get a little pissed off if you need to. Let your heartbeat get up. Feel your blood pressure. I'm going to ask you a question while you're thinking about this. The question is, why is this an issue? Did you get your answer? Is there anybody who did not get their answer? Are you being truthful? I mean, am I that good? So you got this answer, right? You see why this is an issue? Okay, think about this why. It may not make sense. It might be aliens that come and landed on your front lawn. Think about this why this is an issue. And say, where did this come from? So where did that come from? Did you get your next answer? Now we're going to go a little faster. We're going to go a little more deep. And it's going to say, what is the real problem? And it's underneath that. So who started at A and C makes no sense. Yes. So what do you want to, what was A? Are you willing to share with us?
I would prefer not to.
Okay. So A, does C make sense?
It's not so much that it doesn't make sense. It's that it's not really a resolution to the problem.
Okay, so let's go one more deep. So think about C, the third answer. And think about it and go, think about all answers. Get all answers in your head. And go, this doesn't make any sense. So then you say, well, what is the resolution? So your eyes shifted, so you got something. Did you get something? Yeah. Now does it make sense? Sometimes you go 4 layers deep. And if it doesn't make sense, you maybe go 5 layers deep. Or you go back to the beginning and go, I tricked myself. Let's do this again. When this came about when I was freaking the fuck out. I had taken over the sales department of the candle factory. Because I'm not going to do sales. I don't like doing sales. I'm a creator. I don't do sales. And then, for some reason, at the same time, I decided I was going to start this really strict diet. And I have an 8-year-old. And she's having anger issues. And I have a husband. So that just says anything. I mean, in relationship stuff. And my business is having trouble. And I have employee trouble. And all this stuff. But I'm focused on this stupid diet. And I'm talking to my sister. And I'm like, I just can't do this. I just can't do this. I'm feeling, and I'm running everything down, and I'm eating what I'm supposed to eat, and I still can't lose any weight. And she goes, all right, okay, well, let's talk about this. And And she says, what's your frustration? She let me get it all out. And she goes, okay, well, why is that? And I go, because I'm not going to have any more friends. Wait. I'm like, what? Because she said, get it, answer the first thing that comes in your head. And I go, wait a minute. Where? And she goes, okay, well, why is that? I said, well, because every time I've lost a bunch of weight, my entire support structure has changed. Got divorced. I changed my entire friend base. I mean, these are many times in my life that I lost a bunch of weight. And my life kind of collapsed. Wow, that was driving the bus. I could try and eat 100 calories a day and I'd still gain weight, because what's driving the bus is if you lose weight, your life's gonna fall apart. That made no damn sense, did it? Why can't you lose weight because I'm gonna lose all my friends? These don't relate, do they? But they're absolutely related. They're absolutely related. We do this at work all the time. Well, maybe not with everybody, but Patty and I will do this at the factory and say, okay, well, why? And actually just did this earlier this week. Why are all the people we're offering this job to not calling us back? Which is really weird. I'm like, I would like to offer you this job. It's exactly what you said you wanted. Click. You know. So we said, well, why is that? And I said, oh, because they're the wrong people. She goes, why are they? Oh, so we did this. Why are they the wrong people? Because we keep compromising because we're panicking. Okay, so let's stop panicking. What do we need to do to stop panicking so we can find the right person? And I don't know. I mean, this is just this week, so who knows if we're going to find the right person. But it actually helped us go, oh, I don't feel bad about me anymore. I don't feel bad about me. So if you start with that, and this is really important in step 2, but I just wanted to get us through this so you can say, okay, what you're working on is not A, it's C, D, or E. So y'all got your C's? Yes?
Can you say the 3 questions again?
It's pretty much why is that, why is that, why is that? So and it's just different variations of like, okay, so why is that? So, okay, so I have this problem, why is that? Where did this problem come from? Why is that? And then you get to the next one and you're like, well, and then sometimes it floats. It's like, well, who is that? You know? It's hard when it's a who is that, by the way. You know, I mean, we want to trust ourselves. We want to believe in ourselves and believe in our choices. So when it's a who is that, I find that is the most difficult one, especially if it's like a spouse or a parent or a child. I mean, it's a child, you're really screwed. It's your fault. So we're going to go to 1. So we've got your problem. So let's really think about 1. Getting comfortable in your own skin. And by the way, if you notice, these are in a circle because they're not exactly in order. So here's why these 7 steps are about. Is because you're somewhere in there. In anything you're working on in your evolution, you're in there somewhere. You either got to punch it up with your passion on it, or you got to find out what that limiting belief is or what that fear is, or maybe you got to actually break the habit of opening the fridge and getting the cake out of there, or maybe stop buying cake, or maybe you just don't want to deal with the fact that you've got a lot of obstacles in your path and they seem insurmountable, you know, or maybe, you know, you just don't want it. So you don't want to actually do the work and actualize it. How many times have we heard about somebody doing a love spell and they're like, well, it doesn't work, and you're like, what are you talking about? A guy I was working with, helping him out with his love spell. This is where step 7 came from, by the way. And he's like, and I know him, and I'm watching his life. I'm like, so this is kind of cool. Look at you. He goes, it's not working. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, wait a minute. What are you talking about? All these women are like, hey, how you doing? And he goes, yeah, but nobody asked me out. I'm done with you. But it's like you got to actually do the work. You got to say, you got to give a little feedback. So how many times have you done a prosperity spell but then not changed any habits or put Like, hey, hi, new job spouse. Did you put out any resumes? No. Well, okay, that might be a little hard for you. So these steps, you go back and forth. They're wibbly wobbly, tiny windy little things. And so the first one, or the seventh one, or the third one, or one of them, getting comfortable in your own skin. So who are you today anyway? So you get into your body, into the here and now. What am I about? Well, how did I get here? I've been through some shit. I'm still living and breathing. And you gotta forgive yourself. Because you're still here, and you're living and breathing. And sometimes you had to get through some really horrible stuff, and you made some really bad decisions. And you had to face some impossible tasks without the right pieces of information or the right tools. You know, working with a friend of mine who had some really traumatic PTSD, legitimate PTSD stuff that's happened in her life. And it happened in a vulnerable time of her son's lives. And she's kicking her ass right now, going, I screwed up. And I'm like, yeah? Yeah? But you did the best you could with what was in front of you, with the tools you had, and the experiences you had up until then. And so I gave her this, the Hindu prayer for the body. You know this one, you're all excited. So, can y'all read this? No. This has saved my day again. And really it's the first line and the last line. I recognize you are the temple in which my spirit and creative energy dwell. I accept you as my own creation. I need you. I love you. So, and then there's the rest of it in between. But I have created you for my need to have my spirit manifested on earth so I may have this time to learn and grow. I offer you this food or this experience so that you may continue to sustain my creative energy, my spirit, my soul. I offer this food to you with love and a sincere desire for you to remain free from disease and disharmony. I accept you as my own creation. I need you. I love you. That last line, I have in a couple of places in my life, and that saved my day again. When I was figuring out who I am, and you know, life is filled with shoulds. They're filled with a lot of should. Wait a minute, what do you mean you've been in business for 20 years? You should be in a better space than you are now. You should be a better boss. You should be a better mom. You should be a better business person. You should be skinnier, healthier, cuter. Wow, that's hot today. But there's all those shoulds, and we get them all the time. And it's really interesting how we derail each other's lives with those shoulds, shouldn't on each other, and those judgments. You know that thing, oh my God, I'm so excited I got my new car, right? And it's used, new, whatever. And you're like, check out my new car, Babby, I have this new toy. And somebody goes, so where'd you get it? I could have got you a better deal. And you're like, fuck you. Right. Be happy for me. I mean, that's a big one, but there's all those little ones all the time. Like, oh man, I had a really bad day, but I got through it. I'm like, you think your day was bad? It's my day. So we do it all the time. So then we start, I lost the word. It's a diss something. But you start not owning your stuff.
Disown?
Thank you, disowning yourself. What you need and saying I'm not worthy of this. I'm never gonna be good enough. Which is why personally I refuse to keep a food journal, because I think it's just fodder for critique. That's a whole different class. But so this is, and I'm going to talk about, actually we can talk about this for a minute. So getting comfortable in your own skin, I'm on a real specific journey right now. This has been having being fat has been a lifelong journey for me. Being the chubby kid, and my mother's disappointment in me, and the world's disappointment in me, and the judgment, the whole thing. It's been a lifelong journey. I laugh about it. I bring it up in my classes. Everybody laughs about it because it's really actually kind of funny, because it's a ridiculous thing when we all think about it. So I'm doing something new that I started a year ago. And what I'm doing is exactly this. Because I said, I've done Nutrisystem, I've done Weight Watchers, I've done low carb, low fat, no life, you know, all that stuff. Shakes, which is like, you might as well be dead. And you know what? I gain weight every time. I'm not even kidding. So you know what they do? They tell you to keep a food journal, right? And let's look at it, and we'll see what's going on and why you're stuck. And what's wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with me. I go to the doctor, I get a physical. I am perfect freaking health. Everything's good. All of my tests are like smack dab in the middle. There's nothing wrong with you. I mean, like, it's a bad thing. So I'm like, okay, let me step into my own world and my own teaching, and let me get comfortable in my own skin and find out what the hell's going on. And so, actually, I've been using this. Janine Roth is an amazing author. She wrote this book, Women, Food, God. And if you're gonna eat from the refrigerator, pull up a chair, and all this other stuff. Really, she's funny, she's good, and she has this workbook called By Weight. And so I'm doing it. And at first when I did it, I'm like, I'm going through 15 of the things in the workbook in like an hour. And I'm like, yeah, this is no good. So I'm doing all the work. So I'm doing one every other week. And I'm processing it, and I have a group that I'm working with. And her big thing is, stop dieting. That's her big message. When you diet, you tell yourself that you can't be trusted around food. Which I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of true. And so this is my getting comfortable in my own skin. And so she has a couple of rules, like eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full, eat in full view. I mean, all this basic stuff, which is the healthy things without the judgment around food. So in doing this, I'm not on a diet. I'm honoring where I am and how I feel about things. And it's not about losing weight. It's about being exactly where I need to be. But at the same time, I'm losing weight. And it's not a reward, plus, minus. It's not like, congratulations! Because I really fucking love who I am today. I love my shape, I love my size, I love my sassiness, I love being a pain in the ass, I love challenging the status quo, and because of that, the other stuff is happening. So that's getting comfortable in your own skin. And that was just a really long way of telling that. But the Hindu prayer for the body is something that I use on a regular basis to say, man, I've been through some shit, and I forgive myself for screwing up along the way. And even when somebody has done you wrong, you gotta forgive yourself for being hard. Fuck that, forgive yourself.
A diet.
Women, Food, God.
Okay.
She talks a lot about God.
Who's the author? What's her name?
Janine, G-E-E-N-E, Roth. So now we got the other step. I'm not going to call it the second step. Second step is letting go of limiting beliefs. Because you know what? It's time to get the fuck over it. Just so you know, fuck is my favorite word, and there's no one under 18 in here, so I will use it frequently. So there are moments in time where we need to define ourselves by our fears. So what does that look like? What does it look like to define yourself by your fear? Well, here's the easy ones. I don't garden because there's bugs out there. Or, yeah. Actually, well, the truth is, I break out. I hide head to toe when I'm like digging in the garden, digging in the dirt. It's all right. I really don't like it anyway. I love to view it, and I love to watch other people do it. And I love to share in your joy of doing it. But I would have a cocktail. So, but other times we define ourselves by our fears, which is, I can't do this because X, Y, and Z. That is the I can't do this because there's a fear under it. I can't let go of this anger because there's something in there that's defining you, and that's a belief, because you've just stated your belief. And you will always prove your beliefs. You will always prove your belief. Am I scaring you up already? We were only on 2.
I know. We was up till 5 o'clock this morning.
See, that's your fault.
I know.
So we will always prove and manifest our beliefs in life. Whatever we believe, it will come true. So if you believe you're going to get into a car accident, or your car's for shit, or it happens, right? You see this, we watch this all the time. We talk about this. The secret is all about this. But if you think about this, this is only one of the pieces of the puzzle. See? I just said that. You are so powerful that you will short out your own magic with some poorly placed beliefs. Remember the guy? Did the love spell? He said, well, nobody asked me out. Hey, what's that about? He goes, well, nobody, I mean, I'm just a creepy guy. I started talking to people and asking them out. I'm just, nobody's going to want to talk to me. That's a huge belief right there, isn't it? Because when I said, well, why didn't you ask anybody out? He goes, well, this. I'm like, oh, that's a belief we got to clear that. So, then we get to magic always works. Magic always works. And it works right up until it smacks head first into your belief. Oh man, so many opportunities. I watched so many opportunities come my way, and then I'm like, that might work. That might be too good. Because when you find them, now you got clear. Could you go back to that one sentence? You said always what? Always, always, always. There's 3 always in there. Works, and it will make sure it works in a way that is in alignment with your beliefs. So if your beliefs say, I can't lose weight, and I do magic around weight loss, it'll work until it gets that belief. And then it will feed the belief. Here's the screwed up thing. It feeds that belief, and it makes that belief even more powerful. Because that's what our beliefs are. Experience after experience after experience creates that belief. Your parents keep telling you, well, you're the smart one, or the fun one. Your sister's the pretty one. And it gets told to you over and over again. That becomes your belief because you've experienced that disappointment time and time again. So you find it, and this is the bitch, because then you got to work on it. And now you got to stop self-sabotaging. Ooh, I might need water. I got water, I got coffee, I'm hydrated and awake. The only thing I need is a little booze, so I'd be drunk and awake. I talk a lot about booze. I don't get to drink it. Maybe that's why, as much as I'd like to, because I don't. So then there's the time where it's time to stop sabotaging, and then you got to find out why you did it. This is so much therapy, isn't it? This is a lot of self-help bullshit, isn't it? But it's also magic. It's also that self-actualizing magic. And then you got to find your insanity. We all have it. That's why we're here. Insanity is fun. It defines us, right? Well, I know I'm just a bushy redhead, and I'm loud, and nobody wants, I piss people off, and this and that. Well, that is literally something that I said about myself a lot, and I'm part of community things, and so I'm part of a business development program in the community. And there's these couple assholes up There's always some assholes on the board. And it's never you. Which is interesting because I'm one of 2 women on the board, which is usually what happens. And both of these guys have said to me numerous times, well, I know you're going to have something to say about it. You always have something to say. Hang on, everybody take a coffee break. Jake's got something to say. And finally I'm like, fuck you! Fuck yeah, I got something to say. And then I had to say, okay, wait, what's going on here? What is the belief, what is the self-sabotage going on that this continues to play in my life? And I had to say, oh, because I'm living this old societal belief that a woman has to be super ballsy and really out there, and that men don't respect women in business. And I thought I was over that. I'm like, I've been in business for over 20 years. I teach business stuff. Wait a minute, I'm still believing that? And I went back in and I started working on this and working on my stuff and doing my magic and light my candles, which I highly recommend. And, but doing it and talking it out and doing the work around that. And you know what's interesting? So we only meet once a month. The next month, both of those assholes said, we're really glad you're here. You bring a lot to the table. And I'm like, hey, on this date at this time, magic works. And we can see negative patterns in each other. That's easy. It's hard to see them in yourself. You get very blind to them in yourself. But I'm going to tell you something, the minute you see them in someone else, it is absolutely a mirror. It is, who can disagree with that? Because if you're starting, we've all got bad habits. We've all got bad habits. But if I'm noticing that particular bad habit, it's because it's my bad habit, and it's a self-sabotaging thing that I do to myself, and I'm telling myself to shut the fuck up. And then, again, when you sabotage yourself, you prove that belief, you're not comfortable in your own skin and unworthy, so you gotta reel it back again this way. But I want more. Clear negative patterns so you can create what you really want instead of the easiest default. Ain't that a bitch? Yes?
So it's really easy to say, okay, stop self-sabotaging, clear all your negative patterns. But
Isn't that easy?
what happens if you're not ready to let go?
Then you go to a different part of the whole process. You're not comfortable in your skin. You're not comfortable with who you are, so you're not ready to let it go. And if you're totally not ready for any of that, move on to something else. Because you're not ready to peel that layer, that onion back. You have a belief. I know, because I love my refrigerator. And I love it when it's full. And I feel that when it's full, I need to consume everything in it. Not anymore. Because there's a belief that it's not going to be full tomorrow. There's a belief that, okay, let me get it all in now, because I'm going to go on a diet tomorrow. And then I have nothing. I have carrots, and celery, and smoothies. So it's like getting to that, if I'm not ready to change that behavior, that means there's still something underneath that. Or maybe there's a lot of people in my life that keep reinforcing this as something that serves them. Pain serves you, right? Pain serves you. It serves a purpose. It brings something into your life. Sometimes pain brings acceptance into you. So how many times have you been involved or with a group of people that are just really not healthy? And you don't know why you're there, and you bitch about it all the time. So why are you there? I said this to my husband. We're, again, another thing we volunteer. I'm like, all right, dude, why do you do this? Because you're doing nothing but bitching. Why are you here? Why are you with this? I know I left. Why are you still there? Oh, because we get this, and this for our businesses out of doing that. I said, okay, so just focus on that and do what you got to do. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't have to stress about this anymore. We're still part of that event. We're still part of that volunteer process. But now we're free of the anger, and we're focusing on what we get out of it. You want a crazy ass website that doesn't make any sense? Sure, I'll make it for you. That's my volunteer, and out of that volunteering, I get, you know, all kinds of recognition. So it's easy to say it. All of this is really easy to say. This is so easy to say. I wrote it down. It was easy to write down. But doing it, and that's why you don't know where you are. That's why I'm talking about all of these 7 aspects. You know, it'd be easier if it was 5, because then I can make a pen. Yes?
Do you feel sometimes so powerless against the circumstances in your life and the people whom you have to deal with, unfortunately? Like, it's almost sort of a resignation.
So then that's the getting comfortable in your own skin. Because you have to, what is getting comfortable in your own skin? It's about owning where you are and forgiving yourself for getting here. I gotta forgive myself for making these decisions, for marrying that asshole, or for taking this job halfway across the country now. You know, whatever it is, you have to say, okay, this is where I am, and this is what I'm doing. So when I started writing Coventry Magic, and teaching classes on it, and so I had to, they said, well, Jackie, what's your magical process? And I had to, no, I'm thinking about this. And I had to really start writing it down and say, I do this all the time, because, and let me give you, go back further. This is gonna sound really bad. Ooh, it's gonna sound really bad. So when I was a teenager, I was in AA. I talk about booze a lot. But the 12 steps in AA, and what it was is I don't know if you guys know what an OP smoker is.
No.
You smoke other people's shit. So I was hanging out with my friends, and I'm being a part of the crowd, and the easiest crowd to be in is the burnout crowd, because as long as you don't give them shit, they're happy to have you around. And so I like all these people. I'm still friends with a lot of these people to this day. So what happened is that they all had to go to treatment. They're a little bit worse than me. Not that I'm competing. So they all went to treatment, so if I wanted to stay friends with them, I had to go into AA too. Because I can only be friends with sober people. It's kind of a good idea. But those 12 steps are awesome. Those 12 steps saved my bacon. And I wish they were in more things. And so that really informed my spiritual practice and my accountability to my life. And so when I was putting this together, I leaned on that first spiritual development that I did, and I just did some steps. So this one is for, or just one of them, write your own ticket. I think this is the hardest. I think this is the hardest step out of all of them. You think it would be the easiest step because you're like, I want $1 million. I want a McMansion and a Lexus. But yet do you? Because I don't think we know what we want. We think we know what we want, but we really don't want that. So what we want, so let's say your list is McMansion, $1 million, a Lexus, and an awesome patio deck with an outdoor kitchen. You know, I could go on
for that one.
I like barbecuing. But what do you really want out of that? What does that mean? Does that mean security? Does it mean recognition? Does that mean I made it? Is it superstardom? So what is it that you really want? So that goes to that, why is that? Why is that the ticket that I'm writing? I had to do this, you know, go back to the food thing. Why do I want to be skinny? Oh my God. I don't know if I want to be. Well, what do you want? I want to be cool with who I am. I do want to sit in an airplane seat without pain, because they're small. I would like that too, but maybe I'll just go first class. So, you know, what do I want? And sometimes we don't know what we want. So that's why I think this is the hardest thing, because I think we write our own ticket of what we want, but it's not really what we want, it's what we should have. Talking with another friend of mine, And she's like, this job, and I want this job, and it's not quite what should I do? And I said, so what do you want to do, dude? Seriously, what do you want to do? And she goes, well, I actually don't want to do this. I said, why take another job in the same field? Stay where you're at, get new training, go into a different field. Another friend of mine, she has her own business, and she's really down on herself, and it's not going where she wants it to go and doing what she wants to do. And we're talking about that, I'm like, so what do you want? What do you really want? She goes, and we listed it out, and it really wasn't 100 clients. It was this level of peace in her life. So, if you never set a goal, how will you know when you get there? If you never set a point on the map that I'm heading in this direction, you're going to pass it by. So, if you never say, this is what I want out of life, you're not going to get it. A long time ago when I was really working hard on my business, not taking a paycheck for years, not having enough money for groceries, buying my groceries through Priceline. Who would ever do that when that was an option? Getting this extra, it was crazy. It's like you use a credit card before they had them in the stores. That's how old I am. And I remember that, and I'm like cutting every coupon and going to my mom's house for coupons and then stealing some of her food. And go, you know what? When I can shop without a coupon and buy a book whenever I want to, I'm rich. And I lived in that for a long time, and right around the 20th anniversary of Coventry, I found where I wrote that down. And I went, holy shit, I've been living that belief for like 10 years. I'm gonna up the game. I got a lot of books. You also have to verbalize your wishes. This is not a birthday cake. You put them in the world and you plant them and they will grow. It takes two people, I'll say it later, it takes two people to make magic happen. You and the person who facilitates it. So you ask for a raise, somebody's got to say yes. You want to find 20 bucks in the street, somebody's got to drop it. You want a date? Unless you're on your own, there's somebody else involved in it. There's two people for everything. Even if you're looking for inspiration, it comes from somewhere else outside of you because it's coming from outside of you into you. So if you don't verbalize it and record what you want, then it's just like the floaty shit up in your head that makes you crazy. Oh, I missed one. It didn't come up. I wonder what it is. We'll wait and find out. The simple process is the moment you are magically committing to the outcome of your spell and personal transformation. Or this simple process, when you write your own ticket. You're like, I'm all disgruntled because that one's not there. I'm like, where am I? What's going on? But this writing your own ticket is a very simple process because that's when you've decided that you're going to go there and you're going to go for this transformation. And things are going to change radically. And the people around you are not going to like it. Because, what did I say? Pain serves a purpose. So this uncomfortable thing that's going on may serve a purpose of keeping different people in your life, or their pain that they bring to you serves a purpose to fulfill a belief. So when you heal, yes, the world around you reacts and changes with this healing, but it takes a minute to get there. Oh, here it is.
It took a minute to get there.
Yeah. So if you don't know what you really want, how do you know you're sabotaging it? And if you never ask the universe for it, it doesn't know to give it to you. But this is why I think this is the hardest part of this, is knowing what you want. Then, this part is kind of tough too, but very rewarding. What seeds have you already sown in your path?
Can you go back for like 5 seconds? Sorry, I don't write very fast. Thank you.
So the next step. Clearing your path. What seeds have you already sown? This is that, this is Johnny Appleseed moment. When you clear the patterns and clear these things in your life, you can finally see these obstacles that you put in your way, which might be that, you know, you live in a really shitty neighborhood and you don't have any money to move, and this is a really big obstacle for finding any security, because what you're doing is you're spending all your time trying to be safe and all your energy's going into that. So this is a huge obstacle. So now you gotta work on clearing it, but then this is the magic that you do. You know, and we're gonna get through this a little bit more, and we're gonna talk about what kind of magic you do with these different steps. And setbacks are the second layer of defense that old beliefs lay in your path like little landmines. You know, you always prove what you believe. So sometimes you have these old beliefs you set these landmines for. Oh, there's another one. So,
Slacker.
I know, I thought I had it all good. These blocks have been building for lifetimes. This one, maybe more. So you're gonna cycle through it again and again and again. And even though it seems out of control, nothing is out of your control. Nothing is out of your control. So if it seems out of your control, then you gotta do a little magic around it. Then you say, oh, I get where I have to go. You see how these all work? You say, where am I? What's going on? Oh, that's going on. I gotta do some magic around it. So when you look and you have to own the fact that you're part of the process, you're part of the insanity, then you are now empowered to make a new choice. You don't have to be a victim anymore.
The part where you say nothing is out of your control, what is really in your control is your response to the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the power to change that reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much whatever happens, it's your attitude towards it.
That's all you got.
You're
baby.
part of it.
That's all you got. Thank you for that, because that's all you got is how you react, how you internalize it. That's it. You don't have anything else, and that's not a place of powerlessness. It's just kind of a rule of the universe, because I can't control you, right? But if you're raging at me, the situation still is not out of control. Because I can choose to do something different. Yes. And again, psychological, right? You know, if you think about it, how many years ago, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, when all these new psychological things were coming onto the community, the world stage, they thought these guys were crazy. Jung, freaking nuts. Although, did you know that Jung was a Kabbalist? He used magic. This is all crazy. This is not. This is magic. This is mumbo jumbo. But see, it kind of is. So they're right, because it is part of magic. So multiply your desire, open to receive. So magic will bounce off a closed body, a closed mind. I'm not smart enough to get that job. I'm not pretty enough to get a date. You do all the magic in the world, but then you close yourself to the possibilities, to the options, to the different perspectives and experience, you're done. Oh, look, I got one in every one. It's almost like I win because I won in every one. So there's a whole act as if. Let's put them all up and see if that one comes. Yeah, be the source. That's what's important. The whole be the source thing, that takes a while to figure out. That doesn't mean write bad checks. And act as if doesn't mean you need to act like Trump. Nobody likes that. I don't know. Maybe you do. But that means that if this is your goal, what does the future you in possession of that goal? That's how you become the source of that. So one of the things I learned about people with a lot of money, they know how to save it.
That's so true.
Right? If not, you're just a faucet in a drain. So people who have really good, loving relationships, are loving in their relationship. People who have peace and tranquility in their life react in peaceful ways. That's to be the source. It doesn't, some people go immediately to that place of like, what do you mean I gotta be the source? I don't know what it means. You start with, I'm calm in my decisions. And then you gotta, like, this is tricky. You gotta match that vibration of who you are today with who you wanna be in the future. It might involve a little research, but this is the open. You gotta be open to it because, honey, if you could have done it today, you would have done it today. So there's something broken. So you gotta figure out what you need to do. And you have to find out what you don't want in the first place to fine tune it. I like this. You can change your mind, change your direction, and still make magic happen. I changed my mind. I don't want it. You can take it back. I thought I wanted a nice big fat house. And then I had to leave my dangerous neighborhood. And I got a wee little house. And I love my wee little house. I love having a small house. Amen. But it still has 2 bathrooms, which is critical. And then actualizing your magic, making a move towards your goal, being and doing are the difference between hoping and actualizing. I think I've said it. What? I know, look, I win. I don't know, how do I do it? So again, it's act as if, be the source, and then act as if. And magic will meet you halfway. That's the beautiful thing about magic is that it meets you halfway, but the thing about magic is it meets you halfway. So that means that you've got to reach outside of your comfort zone and reach for it, which means get up off your couch, go to a singles event and meet someone, or something, go to church, I don't know, there's people there. Want and do are 2 different things. There's a really nasty saying about putting want in one hand, and anyway, it's really shit. And then syncing your path with your destiny.
Do you think want and do and want and need are 2 different things, are the same?
Need and do are 2 different things.
Want and do and want and need are 2 different things the same?
Well, want and need are in the same category of not having. Doing is actually actualizing it. Actually actualizing. We're actually actualized. Be changed, be evolved. This is hard. That's why it's got its own marquee. I know, this is big stuff. This is a lot to take in, and I don't even know where we are time-wise.
It's about a quarter after.
Oh, I gotta speed up, son of a bitch. Magic is only about you. Charm does not exist here. That rule does not exist. That's bullshit. You uncover in this process who's your cheerleader, who's your vampire, who's out for, who celebrates you, and who just wants to take from you. Yes, you change yourself, and the world will change around you because you see who's for you and who's against you. So again, it takes 2 to manifest anything. This is cool. Wait. Isn't that awesome? I already said all this stuff though. I like it's like I'm missing one. Okay, so this is the good stuff. This is the types of magic. So now we talked about the steps, right? You got I'm here, I'm there, I'm the other place. So what the hell do you do when you figure out where you are? Well, you decide what kind of magic you're going to use. You got your wild magic, which is your wishing magic, your ashay, your core, your chi, random acts of energy. I like to call it the ticker and the Eeyore. You know, either it's going to be really horrible or it's very bouncy. And you get to choose which one you're going to be because you manifest it. You build your cache. I call it like a magical cache, random acts of kindness. I have a great story about that too if we have time. Intentional magic is where you just focus your intent. You light a candle, you're doing intentional magic. You're setting an intent and you're going for it. And you're usually using a tool because intentional magic without anything extra to back it up is kind of like, it'd be nice. You gotta use a tool behind it to back up your intent. Even if that tool is a pen and you're writing it down and you're sticking it on your mirror. Ritual, hey, we're here, we love ritual. But that's when you gotta transcend that mundane. You gotta get into the arcane. You gotta like feel super special. Sympathetic magic is your folk magic, your like-to-like, voodoo, personal concerns. Earth magic is using all of your resources and skills to create life-changing magic. Okay. Huh, wrong. Earth magic. I was like, that's not right. That's transformational magic. Earth magic, because again, I win. I found a mistake. Earth magic is when you're using your crystals, you're using your shamanic stuff, you're doing soul retrieval, you're using the elements of the earth, giving them personalities, working with them in that way. And then evolutionary magic is when you put it all together and you evolve. So, which magic do you use? Getting comfortable in your own skin. Wild magic, which is that building that cache of of energy and using sympathetic magic and even transformational magic. When it comes time to get comfortable in your own skin, you just, vision boards is part of getting comfortable in your own skin. It's like, who am I today? That's part of that whole process. Using wild magic for getting comfortable in your own skin. If you want to feel amazing, compliment a stranger. Changes the game for you.
Like, I love your face.
I love your face.
Well, don't you feel? I feel good. That's like you feel good. I was in Denver going to the trade show, and in Denver they have the most jacked up car rental situation ever. Because you like get on this bus and you drive like 15 miles to the car rental places. The bus is packed and it's just you gotta wait for the bus and you get there and there's this long line. And I was like, oh, this is not going to be good because the bus was packed. I'm like, well, that's going to be a long line at the car rental place, and that's never fun. Never fun. So, the woman across from me, and she had it together. She was this beautiful older woman, silver hair, perfect curls. Like, I can't believe she got off a plane looking that good. I mean, I got off the plane, they got like makeup here, and it's like I lost a sock. I don't know where I lost a sock. And I looked at her and I go, you're amazing. Did you just get off the plane? Oh yeah, I go, you're amazing. I want to be you. You look at you, you're so put together, you look amazing. And your outfit's amazing, and it's not all matchy but coordinated. And I said, so where are you going? She's like, I'm going to the wedding. But on top of it, she was like this. She looked really despondent. So I decided I was gonna like give her some love. And she's going to a wedding, and we had a little conversation, like, 90 seconds. It wasn't a lot. But I just made it a point saying, you look amazing. And we get to the car rental place, and I was right. There was a long, long line out the building because our computers were down. And we prepaid. So you can't even just like, and you can't walk to the next one because it's like 4 miles away. So I was beside myself. I'm like, I can't do it, I gotta get out of here. So we sit in line, and my sister's with me, and I watched the woman that I complimented in the bus stand in line, and there was this family, and babies were crying, and she was talking to the mom and calming her down, and talking to the baby stopped crying, and the kids stopped running around, and the mom stopped yelling at the kids, and the husband's like, okay, she's done yelling at me, I'm gonna come back. And then the people in front of them stopped being like pissed as all fuck because this kid is crying behind them, and they relaxed, and then you can see like the line kind of go, and then the people at the counters, because they're like this, and you know what happens when you're like this and you're trying to use a computer? It blows up. And so the one woman's like, we just got to reboot the system, everybody. I'm really sorry. And I'm like, oh. And they rebooted, and then it worked. And then it was a half-hour wrong. And that's wild magic. And I felt amazing. And we had a great show.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
The slide right before this is, I'd really like to understand, and I don't get the distinctions at all. This is
Okay, so sure, wild magic, the different types of magic, you set forward different types of magic, and I was going fast, and I'm sorry, because I've been talking too much. Wild magic is that random stuff that you do. Either you're out in the world going, it's no good, I don't like this, life sucks, FML. You're going to perpetuate that energy. But when you go into life and you say, you know what, this is an awkward moment, we're going to get through it, and awkward moments happen, and I'm going to have a positive attitude, I'm exactly where I need to be right now, experience exactly what I need to experience, we're going to be good. Then you build that energy. Random acts of energy, random acts of kindness build wild magic, and that wild magic becomes a cache of energy stored up that you can use. Intentional magic is when you use a tool to focus your intent. So if you're going to light a candle or put stones in your pocket or wear a certain, you're setting an intent, you're using a tool for a specific outcome. Ritual magic is when you then set up your candles on your altar and you put, you have your different tools and you get into a different mindset and you say, I'm going to take a bath and I'm going to cleanse, and I'm going to say these exact things to create this exact outcome. Sympathetic magic is when you use folk magic, something like folk magic that says, like, I want a new car, so I'm going to get this Matchbox car, I'm going to put it on my altar, and I'm going to put money around it, and you're going to do something specific, and you're going to do like to like. All the conjure work is very sympathetic magic. Earth magic, ignore what it says here. Earth magic is when you're going to use things of the earth. You're going to work in a shamanic way, do soul retrieval stuff, you're going to use stones, you're going to use earth energies, spirits of the earth, and invite them in, like using elementals or guardians of the earth. Planting stuff around your house for protection is a type of earth magic. Transformational magic is when you're using all of your resources and skills to transform your life. So it's a blend of all this stuff. And then evolutionary magic is growing through using magic and growing through your spirituality. I went too fast, I apologize. So now we're going to marry the two. What step am I in, and what the hell do I do about it? So when it's, we talked about clearing negative patterns and how it's easy to say, but hard to do. So that's when you get into your sympathetic magic. That's when you get into your shamanic magic. Welcome to
These chairs in my ass.
I've said that more than once. Like shamanistic magic and clearing negative patterns is there's such a powerful connection between the two, because you can go in and say, well, what's broken within me? What do I have a soul part issue going on? Do I have visionary magic is very similar. I have this negative pattern. What does this negative pattern feed? Also, sympathetic magic works really well in negative patterns because you can say, all right, I want to create this new spiritual habit, so I'm going to put these new things around to do that. Letting go of limiting beliefs, transformational magic, you're going to use all kinds of different tools to get there to find out what it is. And ego. Our ego is a very magical thing. Ego is not a bad thing. It has its light side, it has its dark side, which doesn't mean it's bad. Because our ego is a very powerful tool. It tells us, as a tool, it tells us when we're about to hurt ourselves. And it says, don't do that. But sometimes we need to hurt ourselves to learn. We don't grow from pleasure. We grow from pain more than it's when life is good. We're not looking for the next step in evolution. We want to coast. But when things are painful is when we want to get through it faster and move and have that experience. So again, this whole thing, this whole evolutionary thing is we unroll ourselves into what we want to do next. I know it sounds complicated, but when you say, where am I and what do I need to do? and why do I need to do it, and why am I fucked up? It's simple, but not easy. Clearing your path, transformational magic, sympathetic magic, road opener magic, which a lot of good road opener magic saying what's this path in front of me and how do I open the road to the next step is really good. Transformational magic in that means that I gotta go in and do some healing and figure out why these people are still in my life, or why do I stay here, or why do I find the same people over and over again. That's a good one. So you can do, when you say, where am I don't know what I want. What do I want? I don't know what I want. I thought I knew what I wanted. What's my goal? And ritual magic is awesome in that, because what you're doing is you're saying, I want this goal, so now I'm going to start putting all these pieces together to support this goal in this ritual. I'm going to set up an altar just for this subject. And then I'm going to do these things that support this. And I'm going to have this ecstatic experience that supports this. Ritual magic is awesome for that because it really makes you own what you're asking for. Sympathetic, and then on the flip side, sympathetic magic is so good for that because that's that Matchbox card. That's that vision board that says this is what I want. Actualizing your magic, you know, the earth magic is perfect for that because it's like, why am I not taking this next step? What do I need to do to take this next step? And you can, and I have this like chart of what magic to use, but yet as I was putting this together, I'm like, well, you know, I did use some earth magic and letting go of limiting beliefs. I did use visionary magic when I was writing my own ticket, because I had to visualize it. So you may use any and all of these things, but that's a nice place to start. Boom! So it kind of synchronizes with the Kaballah. Because we're talking about the Kaballah as a whole thing. Look at it, it's growing. Look at that. But it really, it synchronizes right here. Oh look, I got it right here. So what happens is we plant the seed is planted, and then what happens is up here, this is like that divine self, and the seed is planted, and you notice it's like got no color, it's all gray, because don't worry about that. That's the work that the divine did for you. This, whoops, right here is where it breaks. That's where we break that whole seed that was planted. Now we gotta go fix it. So your beliefs, your ego, your self-talk is in that Tiferet part, in the heart. And here is your reflection of what you plant into the earth. That's that negative pattern. And then down here is how everything manifests. So all of these going up and down in Tiferet, Yesod, and Malkut is kind of where a lot of that's you. This is your center part. So it does synchronize with all that. I think it might have been a little unnecessary information confusing it. But where are we at? We're done. But so you know, I talked too much, and I really wanted a better timeline. But the 7 steps. So here's how. This is something I did for me. So starting in the here and now and letting go of my past, what messages were you sent from others or you sent to yourself? Who are you today? How does this affect the magic you're trying to craft? Those are the questions I asked myself, and those are the candles that I used to get to that place and to do other rituals around it, because you know I sell candles too if you didn't.
Candles.
So this is how, in this creating this wealth and success, I literally did all of this stuff to get to this place where I'm like, what am I screwing up here? Why am I limiting this? What's happening? And starting here and now and letting go of the past, I made some big mistakes in business. I made some big mistakes in the choices that I made. And then you know what else? I got some family that's made some big mistakes in business. So I'm like, oh, I got all this legacy stuff behind me. it's cool, I'm gonna move on. And then I'm gonna clear the sabotage. But did you notice that the sabotage is number 2, and relaxing my expectations is number 3? Because I kind of had to go back and go, where am I sabotaging myself? I gotta clear that, and then I gotta chill. And I have to say, okay, the universe has a better plan than me, and let some of that flow. And then I had to define myself, which was more than just no coupons and books. What does this success mean, and redefine that? And then clearing the road and saying, okay, I clear these obstacles that I put in my way. And for this, it was, I had to keep going. I had to keep moving. And actually, the biggest obstacle in my way was me, because I felt I had to do it all personally. And then I kept hiring people that proved the fact that I had to do that personally. But then I had all these people that I hired. I couldn't do what I wanted to do because I changed that belief. And then I had to clear the road. Inviting in success, gratitude is the best thing to do for step 6. When you start from this place of gratitude, the world opens up for you. And then open to opportunity. And then decide which opportunity is right or wrong for me. So this is what I've done, and over and over and over and over again. Because, wealth and success, again, sounds like an infomercial, right? 7 steps to wealth and success, changing your life for the better, evolving and being a better person. But then, it's very green. Romance, personal wellness, and it goes on and on. It's like, well, what do I really want? What's my goal here? And then you just kind of look at where you are and where you need to change and what you need to do. It's a big deal. Magic is a big effing deal. I don't know why I said effing this time when I said fuck everybody. It's no joke. It can be light. You can say, well, I'm going to cure this amethyst to bring this and this and this in my life. I meant to say mentoring. But I'm going to carry this rose quartz to make my life a little calmer. And then you take the rose quartz out of your pocket, or it gets filled with junk, and you got to start all over again. You can keep it really light if you want to. Feel free. There's times when I just need to fix a little something and move on. I'm not going to fix my family, so I'm just going to bring a happy home candle to the next family function. And then spread a little love stuff around. I don't want to fix them. I just want to keep it light. But when I get home, I got to calm down. And I got to fix me and what's broken in me, so I can stop freaking out every time I need to go see my family. So it's what's here, what you need to transform to just lead a better life. And it's absolutely possible.